Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Horn, and my group members are Matthew Benton and Drew Swoop. And this is our presentation for Kristen's Cookie Company. So this is our process flow diagram, and it shows the process of them from when they receive the order at night all the way up to them accepting their payment from the customer. And it starts with receiving the order from the customer from the email or however they may get their order in. And that leads to cleaning material and prepping the food for mixing. And then the two people split off. One person will scoop and mix food while the other one will set the level on the oven. And then that leads to baking the cookies, which takes about 10 minutes or so. And then that leads the two people while the cookies are baking leads to removing the cookies from the oven and prepping the packaging. And then once cookies are packaged, the order is ready to be made and the payment is accepted from the customer, and the process starts all over each time. How long will it take to fill an order? So the time starts when they receive the order from the customer in their email, which takes no time. But the first physical step starts when they prepare the mixing material and the food for cooking. So the cooking of the preparing of the mixing material and the food will take about 6 minutes, and then it'll take about 2 minutes to put the cookies onto the tray. So once the cookies are onto the tray and they're ready for baking, the next step is to put them in the oven, which takes 1 minute, and then it'll take about 9 minutes to cook for 10 minutes overall for the baking process. So once they're finished baking, one of the roommates will perform the final step of removing the cookies from the oven and letting them cool for about 5 minutes. And then the other roommate will prepare the packaging and the packaging for the cookies, which will take about 2 minutes. And then once they're all packaged up, they'll be ready to give the order to the customer and receive payment, which will take about 1 minute. So the whole process will take overall about 26 minutes for filling one order. So how many orders can be filled in one night? So we know that each order takes about 26 minutes by itself. So if it takes about 4 hours to have one full night of cooking, that's about 240 minutes per night to fill a certain amount of orders. But with a equation where we have the amount of time per night minus the first step divided by the whole cycle time, we found out that we can have about 22.4 or 22 orders a night. And if there's a more efficient way that they can probably speed up the cooking process or prepare the boxes while they're cooking, then they probably can add maybe a little bit more time and maybe add a few more orders. So time management. So to see how much valuable time each person has, we can see that the washing, mixing, and spooning process will be all done by one person. And that will take about 8 minutes overall for the washing and mixing, which is 6 minutes, and then the scooping of the cookies onto the tray, which is 2 minutes. So about 8 minutes for one person of valuable time. And then the other roommate is performing another set of tasks, like setting the oven, removing the cookies, and packing them and accepting payment. So with that amount of time, it'll be equal to 4 minutes for those amount of tasks. So overall, combined, we have about 12 minutes of valuable time between both of the people.
Special rush rates are pivotal. The oven is only capable of having one order of cookies at a time, but since preparation is only 14 minutes, while the current batch is being baked, you can prep the special order. Since you are potentially delaying other orders, a premium is required for a priority order. The rate should be an added 25% to the regular order charge as you are delaying the other orders. But the current order in the oven has to be completed before putting in the new batch. You and your roommate can spend this time baking to rewash the bowl and prepare the next batch. The total prep time for one batch of cookies is 26 minutes from the time the order is received, with counting for a possible 10-minute delay in case of a rush order or another 5-minute delay for any other problems that may raise. Quote the customer with a guaranteed delivery of 45 minutes.
The most important factor in business planning is the cost of goods. Some ingredients can be found cheaper at certain stores. If you have a certain brand in mind, then prices and availability may differ from store to store. Other factors to consider are marketing, how will you get the word to your other door mates. Finally, you must consider inventory and processing. Based on the first few weeks of purchasing patterns, you and your partner can determine which ingredients to keep in greater supply. Also, which ingredients may potentially expire and need to be sold quicker. Finally, how do you process the orders once the phone call comes in? Diligent bookkeeping is a great way to stay on top of your business and to maintain relevant supplies, and possibly streamlining your orders in the process. By standardizing the cookie making process, you can also potentially streamline the preparation process. You and your partner would be able to create one giant batch for the perceived amount of goods sold that evening, then make the cookies as the orders appear. By doing this, you would also be able to mix different kinds of cookies into 1 dozen. For example, one batch could have half a dozen chocolate chip and the other half a dozen M&Ms. It could also potentially increase the amount of goods sold in one evening. The potential drawback to this is excess cookie dough at the end of the night, which could potentially be used for the next day if stored properly.